Up next is the App of the Week segment. This is a segment dedicated to app demonstrations. Should you have an app that you would like to demonstrate for our listeners, feel free to send us the recording of such an app demo to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. And now for this week's episode, here's your App of the Week. Let's now move on to our next segment, and we're talking about the App of the Week, where I talk about the Hermit browser. Here's that demonstration. Hi, for episode 203, App of the Week, this is demonstrating the Hermit browser. I came across the Hermit browser back in 2016, and thanks to Jacob of our email group who brought this to the forefront again, I'd totally forgotten about it, and today I would like to demonstrate this app for you. I'll be using the Acapella TTS engine, and for the voice variant, I'll be using Will. I am on the play page of the web browser, the Hermit, and I do want to mention here in passing that the Hermit is not necessarily like any of your traditional browsers. While it consists of the traditional browsing and all of that and adding a lot of things to it, the focus also has to do with the fact that you can create progressive web apps, that's PWAs. With this app, for example, there's a web page that you'd rather work with it as though it was an app. You could use this app to create such a PWA. I will now move to the about of the app so that we can hear the description of the app, and the app description actually tells you everything that you need to know, and thereafter I'll simply be taking you through the tour of the app and showing you around and what is contained within the settings and all of that. For now though, here's the description of the app.
About this app, heading Google Play Store, Hermit, Lite apps browser, details. Advanced web browser for power users, optimized for Lite apps and privacy, better than native apps. Lite apps take up almost no space, best for low storage devices. They don't run in the background, which saves battery. User scripts, run your own custom extension scripts. Content blocker, block ads, malware, misinformation, and targeted propaganda. Built-in and customizable, you can pick what to block. Better than traditional browsers. Compare Hermit with traditional browsers. https:/hermit.chimbori.com/features/compare. Each Lite app opens in its own permanent window, not a new browser tab each time. Links clicked in other apps can be opened directly in Hermit Lite apps. Settings, permissions, themes and icons are saved separately for each Lite app. Share links from other Android apps to your Lite apps. Sandboxes, multiple profiles/containers. Hermit is the only Android browser with sandboxes, isolated containers with multiple profiles. Sandboxes keep your web browsing isolated in separate containers. Use multiple accounts, all active at the same time, in the same browser. Keep work accounts and personal accounts separate. Ideal for privacy-invasive social sites. Use permanent incognito mode for sites that offer free content to new users. Advanced browser for power users. It takes a bit of learning and understanding to use Hermit effectively. We're here to help. Getting started guide. https://hermit.chimbori.com/help/getting-started. Help articles and FAQ. https://hermit.chimbori.com/help. Privacy plus no ads equals paid premium. Thanks for supporting the active development of a privacy-friendly app designed for power users like you. To continue investing in new features for many years, we charge money for our apps. Unlike other browser makers, we are not in the business of selling ads or your personal information. No advertisements, no personal data collection, no behavior tracking, no shady SDKs in any of our apps. Most features can be used for free. Advanced browser features. User scripts, run your own custom extension scripts. Reader mode, article extraction is done on device to protect your privacy. Dark mode, great for late night reading. Fast and private, browse fast by blocking advertisements and other harmful content that slows down your phone. Multi-window, use 2 Lite apps at once on supported devices. Double back. Ever got stuck because the back button takes you to the same page? Try Hermit's double back feature. Back up your Lite apps. Custom backup solution when moving between devices. Custom user agent, mobile, desktop, or any other custom user agent. Atom/RSS feed notifications. Get immediately notified when a website publishes new content. Web monitors. Feeds not supported? Hermit can monitor any specific part of any web page and notify you when it changes. Unlimited customization. No other browser lets you customize so many settings. Custom icons. Pick any icon for your Lite apps or create a custom monogram. Custom themes. Create your own themes for any site. Text zoom controls. Change and save text zoom settings individually for each Lite app. Desktop mode. Load desktop sites instead of mobile sites. Full screen mode. Focus on your content. No distractions. Customizable content blocker can block ads, malware, and misinformation. You pick what to block. Need help? Seeing an issue? Contact us first. We are here to help you. But we cannot help you through reviews because they don't include enough technical details. Contact us through the app and we'll make sure you are happy.
And that's the description of the app. Let's now take a listen to the history, in other words, when it was first introduced and what the version number is and all of that before we go back to the main page and install and get going on the tour of the app. Here's that info.
App info. Version 27.0.1. Updated on August 30th, 2024. Downloads 1 million plus downloads. Offered by Chimbori. Released on April 29th, 2015.
And that's both the description of the app and the app history. As you can hear, there's a lot of information about the app, and frankly that saves me time, and all I'll be doing is basically taking you through the tour of the app, the UI, the buttons and all of that, what is accessible and what is not accessible. I do want to, however, mention here in passing that you can purchase the app as a one-time payment of $8, or if you just want to purchase some certain features of the premium features, you could pay for $1.99 for certain features, but if you want to get every feature, it's like $8. I'll now navigate my way back though to the play page or the installation page so we can install it and get going.
Play Store. About this. Install button. Pending. Verified by Play Protect. Navigate up button. Hermit Lite Apps Browser. 94%. 98%. Installing.
There we are. It has been installed, and now I'll tap on that Open.
Open button in Hermit Home button out of list.
Upon launching the app, the first thing we heard was Home, that is landing on the button on top left corner. I do want to mention though that there are some buttons here near the top, and these buttons include that one that we just heard, that is the Home. And then moving, going right from there, we've got
Search or type URL edit box.
This is where you will type to go to the address you're looking for. And to the right of that is
Button. Detected icon list.
It's basically a button that's not labeled, and TalkBack is doing the heavy lifting and simply says List. To the right of that,
Settings button,
is the Settings button. That's all in the way of buttons that we have there near the top part of the phone. And now below that, we have a little more information, and that simply says
Better than traditional browsers. Each Lite app opens in its own permanent window, not a new browser.
Basically kind of telling you some of the things it said earlier in the description. And to the right of that is the Close button.
Close button.
Now below that though, we come across
Compare button.
We have the compare, basically compare it with other browsers out there. And below that,
Create your first Lite app now. By using this app, you agree.
We come across a header with text strings that say create your own first Lite app, and below that,
Create a Lite app button.
Create a Lite app. Scrolling down some more, we come across
Open links in Lite app. To open incoming links from other apps in the right Lite app, Hermit must be set as the default browser.
And below that, we have a button that simply says,
Set as default browser button.
And then below that, before we move to the last button there,
Lite apps.
Lite apps. In other words, if you have apps that you've created, they'll be listed here. Right now, though, I don't have such Lite apps. And then the last button at the bottom right is
Create a Lite app button out of list.
Create a Lite app. Before we come to exploring the creation of a Lite app and all of that, though, let's move back to the top and go into the settings, which probably is the most important one here, as it has lots of customizations beyond your imagination. I'll now tap on that settings found on the top right corner.
Settings button.
Here's that settings and tap.
Global settings.
We heard global settings, and from here, I'm just going to go through the items here. I'm not going to be going into each of them as all of them explain what they are. Here's what I'm talking about, starting from the top and going toward the bottom.
Back button.
The first thing we come across is a back button there on the top left corner.
Set as default browser off switch.
Next.
Lite apps, appearance, notifications, add to home screen, backup and sync.
Next.
Sandboxes. Sandboxes keep your web browsing isolated in separate containers.
In other words, this is where you can sandbox a website. Next.
Privacy. Save passwords, clear cache, clear cookies.
Next.
User scripts. Run your own custom user scripts on any page. Install from various sources online or create your own.
Next.
Content blocker. Block ads and malware.
Next.
Tracking protection. Protects your privacy by removing tracking parameters from URLs. Off switch.
Next.
Premium features. Heading.
We now come across the premium features, and as I explained earlier, if you want, you can just buy the whole thing for $8, or you could buy certain features of the premium feature that you want without necessarily buying the whole bundle. Here's what we got under that heading of the premium features.
Premium. Enjoy access to all premium features forever with a one-time purchase. Enlist.
Next.
$7.99 button.
That's how much it would cost you. Next.
Multiple profiles/containers. $3.99 button. User scripts. $1.99 button. Tracking protection. $1.99 button. Content blocker. $1.99 button. Backup and sync. $1.99 button. Custom user agent. $1.99 button. Print. $1.99 button.
And that's the last of those premium features. So as you can see, it could add up. But if you want, you could just buy it for a one-time for $8. Next, we come across
Connect with us. Heading out of list.
And below that,
Help. Get advanced tips and tricks from experts.
Next.
Send feedback.
Next.
Rate this app.
Next.
Enjoying this app? We appreciate your support in every way. Enlist.
And below that is basically if you want to make some donation, they have some suggested donations. It's like buying a cup of coffee, buying some pizza, or whatever.
$1.99. $4.99. $9.99. About. Follow us for updates. Terms of use. What's new? Out of list.
And that's the last item. I'll now go back though to the menu eye of the app.
Home button.
And before we bring this to a close, let's go ahead and take a look at that last button at the bottom right, which is the Create Lite Apps.
Create a Lite app button.
tapping on creating a Lite app, and if you put your finger near the top in the middle of the phone, you're going to hear unlabeled button.
Unlabeled.
It says unlabeled. And I do want to mention here in passing that at the bottom on the right edge of the phone, we've got some 3 buttons that are stacked above each other. And if you're an explorer exploring through, you're going to hear that unlabeled that I'm sitting on now bleeding into those buttons, even though they have their own label. And so if you want, though, the good news is that you can actually label this button. The button here is basically saying list of Lite apps. So in other words, that unlabeled button there is list of Lite apps. So I'm going to create that label.
Unlabeled.
And now you could either swipe down and curve to the right to bring up the talkback menu, or you could tap with 3 fingers to bring up the talkback menu and find the add label.
Talkback menu. Add label in list.
And I'm going to tap here.
Label text. Add label. Label text. Edit box. Showing English, US, QWERTY.
And I'm simply going to label this as list of Lite apps.
Use assistant voice typing.
List of Lite apps.
Voice typing stopped. Use assistant voice. OK button. Keyboard hidden. Hermit. List of Lite apps.
Now, if I move my finger down, you can hear that bleeding into those other buttons because the separation is not done well.
Create your own.
So the first button there is create your own. And if you're a swiper, you wouldn't even notice any of that bleeding. And the reason is because the label is labeled to the left of the button. The actual buttons are to the right, and the labels are to the left.
Create your own button.
We got the create your own, and below that,
Ready-made Lite apps button.
ready-made Lite apps. In other words, if you tap here, you're going to see apps that have been pre-made and you can choose from them. And they've got them into categories like news and tech and all of that. And the last button at the bottom,
Create a Lite app button.
create a Lite app. Let's go ahead though and tap on that list of made apps. So in the event that there's any in here that you would like to use, you could pick to add those to your home screen.
Ready-made Lite apps button. Back button.
I am now in a page or on the screen with the already made Lite apps. And some of these, there are literally tons and tons of those. And the whole idea here is not for me to go through each and every one of those, but you could go in here and look through the list and see which ones you like. But some of the apps here, or the pre-made apps here, include some of these.
Google. Reddit. Link. Amazon. Google Maps. LinkedIn. Wikipedia. CNN. Axios. BBC. IMDb. Link. Reuters.
And it goes on and on. I've seen even things like Android Police, Android Authority,
Detected
and
image.
other
Reuters.
apps in there as well. But that's a quick overview of the Hermit web app. If you like it, you can go ahead and get it. Like I said, it's very useful if you have a phone that has limited storage, as this saves you a lot of storage and all of that. But on the whole, I like the app, and thanks to Jacob for bringing it back to the forefront. And with that, I come to the end of this short tour of the Hermit app. Thanks for listening. And that's it. You know, the Hermit browser there is a kind of different browser. A lot of customization, though, if you're into customization and all of that. But, you know, especially the strength of it has to do with, you know, if you have a budget device and you don't have a lot of room on your device and you want to be able to use many apps, this probably would be the way to go. I know that like a year or so ago, or a little over a year ago, I demonstrated something similar. Basically, they were copying these guys. I think that one was from a developer called Elway. It's on our YouTube as well. But yeah, check this Hermit browser and see if it's something you like. It's $8. I would rather pay $8 than buying only a feature for $2 and then buy another one for $2. By the time you get 3 or 4 of them, that's a lot of moolah. So that's what that is.
Have you tested the Lite apps? I mean, have you tested to try one of them and see what's the accessibility? Because you were just showing us the main interface without showing us anything else in the demo. So what about the tests?
Yeah, I didn't test. Like I said, I've had this since 2016, and frankly, thanks to Jacob for bringing it to the forefront. I didn't test it with one of the apps, but I went through the process of creating one, and it was very simple to create one. I don't think that the accessibility would be any difficult. I'll have to check on that
Does this
again.
run on
to see.
Chromium?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it should. I mean, you never know, right? But it should work fine. I think I've used. It's been a long time since I've used it, probably a year or two. But it did work when I tried it. But since Chrome, I stopped using it since Chrome lets you do this now. I have web apps installed to my home screen just using Chrome, and I love it. I mean, it's just so convenient to have a website that you can treat as an app. Like, it doesn't open up in a tab on your browser. It opens up its own window that you can close in Recents or navigate it like it's an app. And it's even better than some apps. Like, just because it's a website, it can be more accessible than the actual app. Like, I have an Amazon web app on my home screen rather than using the Amazon app, because the Amazon app just annoys me. It's so much easier to use the Amazon website, which I just have saved as a web app. I can navigate by headings, controls, links, all that, and I can get to what I want much faster.
Yeah, so I think it will just be the same idea. And like I said, it's good for people that, maybe don't have a lot of storage on their phone. So I'll be playing with it today when we're done with the podcast and see what I observe. But I don't anticipate any problems.